Hey gang, weaponxsquall hit 100 subs and is having a contest. He wants us to share a memory of a comic trip. This could be a trip to a store, a flea market, a swap meet. Well, I just had a great comic trip last Wednesday. I went over to my dealer's house, as I do whenever our schedules allow, and he's selling off the bulk of his collection. He's keeping his Gold Key and Kirby stuff, but the rest is pretty much already gone. Well, in his collection are these books I've mentioned before. They're from a dead guy who carefully removed all the ads that didn't affect the story. Maybe 2 years ago, my dealer integrated all these into his collection, and now he has to pull them back out to not confuse the guy he's selling them to. And my dealer doesn't want to be offered nothing for them, and he doesn't want to keep them. So he figured he'd just give them to me. So I have about 3.5 more short boxes of this dead guy's stuff. I'll give you some highlights. I've got first issue special number 8, and I've got Warlord number 1. And there's also like the first 35 issues of Warlord. There's Batman 291 with a nice villains cover, and there's 253, which is the first Shadow, or it's maybe the first Shadow in DC continuity, I can't remember. There's Detective 471, which is the first modern Hugo Strange, and there's 474, which is the first modern Deadshot. There's Detective 475, which is the first Jokerfish. And there's a bunch of Superman, and there's at least one Flash with nice Neil Adams covers. And these ones might just be interesting to me. It's a Flash 245, which is the first mutated Dr. Woodrue, the Floronic Man. And there's Superboy starring the Legion of Superheroes number 209. This is the first issue when Jim Shooter returned to comics. There's a little write-up in the back. They ask him, what have you been doing, Jim? And so he says what he's been doing, but he ends it by saying, "My thoughts are clear now. There are many things to be done," which sounds like a fucking psychopath, but there were many things to be done at Marvel, and he ended up doing them. And there's an ass load of Tarzan. These are all light as a feather. I can't believe how many ads they must have put in them. And he wants to know what book we used to get someone into comics. Well, I don't have a specific book. I sort of got a pal into comics, and I profited by it at the same time. Back in 1999, my dealer had 2 long boxes of 10-cent comics in the store's basement. This is where I got the majority of my Transformers collection, a big chunk of X-Men, Archie Turtles, and various other beat goodies. The boxes had 2 trade collections of the Wolverine Mini. And they were in really nice shape, so I don't even know why they were in there. And I sold those to 2 pals for $3 a piece, because I was always looking to sell stuff, because at 19 I was consistently broke. And one of my few avenues for cash, the local comic book store, closed. A lot of the time I could buy hot books there that Wizard hyped. I could sell them to my dealer for extra cash because he was like an hour away. But those days of extra cash were over. So this other guy in our little group, he didn't read comics, but he saw these Wolverine books, and he thought maybe I could find him some G.I. Joe comics. He used to read those as a kid. And luckily there were G.I. Joes and the G.I. Joe Transformers Mini in these 10-cent boxes. So I sold them a sizable wad for 50 cents a piece. I never mentioned that they were 10-centers. And I brought them with me and got the cash the night we all went to see Eyes Wide Shut, which meant I could actually afford the ticket. Good times, sort of. So thank you to weaponxsquall for this contest. Congratulations on hitting the hundy. Between this dead guy's books and the books I got back in 1999 from those 10-cent boxes, I probably have like half the issues of Warlord. And I've never read an issue of Warlord.